This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Drive out with a car!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
And the English Professor.
It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome to another edition of Can Crushers. I'm your host, Mark Martinez, alongside of me in studio as we're taking a little bit of a break from beer today, or at least I am, and we'll get to that story, is the man, the myth, the legend, the guru, the historian, the, I don't know, Chad Prana.
Yes, the first confirmed case of the coronavirus in PA.
Yeah, that's
in Ridgeway.
That's a bunch of shit. That's not getting out. We'll stop that right now. You look like you have a flu.
Sinus.
Did you have some beers last night?
I wish. Just drank wine and wine coolers last night.
Wine coolers? I didn't know they were still a thing.
Yes. For us people who don't like peeing in drawers or on couches or on chairs, yes.
And we'll get to that. So apparently, the Rated X Can Crusher was in town. He brought his kids up, and we met at a local establishment. And I had probably one of my, it's good for a little bit, just a glass of beer. It's called Southern Tier Hot Cocoa. Man, the first two drinks are, it's like you're drinking hot chocolate with alcohol. It's great. Get down to about 3/4 of the glass, and it gets heavy, and it was syrupy the last drink. So nonetheless, I switched back to Yingling.
Now, is it a beer that needs to be, not being smart aleck, but does it need to be shaken up? Were you drinking the settlement when you got down to the last little bit of it? Or
maybe I should have done the swirl or something. You're right. I mean, I don't know. The bartender was not helpful, not a great bartender. Just was there last night. I don't want to say it was busy, but there was people in the establishment, unbeknownst to her. We'll leave it at that. So I switched. I went back to the regular Yingling, and I don't know, Pat and I were out probably about 4 hours. You know, I maybe had 8 beers. I mean, my tab of just beer was $25, rounding. That's not a lot, right?
No, not at all.
I come home, go to bed, and this morning I wake up, not feeling great, but whatever, I lost an hour as well. So that's within itself. And the wife tells me that in the middle of the night, I pulled her covers and was going to pee on her.
Now, were you going to pee on her, or were you going to pee on the bed?
Well, either or, she was getting wet at some point. Not from pee.
Okay, you got to clarify these things. You two are weird at times.
So it brings up, she shushed me and I went to the bathroom or whatever, and then apparently I made some kind of grand gesture that we should all pee together. I do not think I was that drunk drunk at all. I'd like to get a call in next week from the Rated X Superstar. He's on the road right now, so I'm not going to call him because he can't drive sober, let alone talking to me.
And he can't do more than
one thing at a time. He can barely do one thing at a time.
Okay.
So I need to get a call into him to see, was I bad? I mean, we were also talking to one of our other classmates. I mean, we're all just there. We weren't pounding them. So the wife then, you come in, and the wife then proceeds to tell you other stories of me, and these ones I was shit-faced. And we won't lie about this. I've ridden home in the back of a trunk because we won a TV at a raffle. So I decided I'll ride home in the back of a trunk, and the TV sat in the front seat. All right, cool. That same night then, Chad, was the night that the story she just told you, so I might as well tell you too. Again, I was completely shit-faced. I'll admit it. I peed on our computer chair. Not that one, by the way. We got a new one.
Yes, I made sure people, before I sat down, well, actually, I was sitting down and getting ready to be disgusted that I'm sitting in a chair that he peed on, but they did say that it was not this chair. It was a chair like it.
And another one is the same night, after she got me back in bed, I had to go back to the bathroom a couple hours later again. Apparently, I lifted the couch cushion and just peed on the hideaway bed. Again, not the couch that we have. This is early days. This is prior to Ethan, by the way. This is definitely prior to Ethan, so it's about 15 years ago. I don't know. But here's the best one, all right? And it doesn't involve me. It involves my brother, okay? We had a hell of a party up his house, okay? I came home, whatever, barely got home. The next morning, he calls me. He's like, what the Christ did we do? I don't know, we drank a lot of beer at your house. He's like, my furnace door is ripped off the hinges, and he pissed in his furnace. So we have problems, apparently, when I don't think I was that drunk last night.
Maybe we should, get you adult diapers for when you're going to be drinking or something, so you can just piss and you're not aiming at couches and chairs and furnaces.
I didn't piss in the furnace. Like,
your sweet innocent wife and your bed and everything.
He had thousands of dollars of issues after pissing in his furnace.
Oh.
Yeah. His girlfriend at the time was not so happy. Happy.
I can see.
I don't know. But that's where we are today. That's why we got some Coke. Coke in a can today.
The drink.
Yeah. Not.
We're not busting lines out on the table yet or anything.
Not at all. All right, so let's jump into wrestling. It was a ho-hum week.
Yeah, very, very quiet week.
I mean, you have some things you want to bring up, right?
Yeah, hey, I'll apologize to WWE again. They finally did something great this week. We got to see Brock Lesnar get his fucking head kicked off 3 times.
Wow, 7 minutes into it. I was the one talking about being drunk, and you're dropping the F-bomb already.
It was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. That made
Raw
made Raw tolerable to watch. I say jokingly because I still could not sit through all of Raw. But
we'll get the Raw.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great way to start the week.
It really was. So the English professor now says I'm home. Well, too bad. You'll have to wait. Some actually news though is WWE's got a lawsuit. What?
Class action lawsuits been filed. Remember, a couple of months ago they fired a couple of high level executives. One of the executives and some others that are unnamed filed a class action lawsuit, and basically through the legal mumbo jumbo and everything, what I could understand is that it's them not operating, as in Vince and them, not operating in a beneficial manner to the stockholders and to WWE. And it's all directly related to the Saudi stuff. From the last time of the talent being stranded, them knowing that there was issues beforehand, money issues, everything kind of related with that. It's kind of a odd lawsuit, but seeing those two get fired, I wondered how long it was going to be, because these weren't your creative team.
Yeah,
this wasn't the creative team. Number 2 and 3 behind Vince. This was executives, and this cost him a shitload of money.
It seems like it's going to cost him a shitload in legal fees now.
Yeah, at least, even if, I don't know the legalities and all that on it and that, but it's going to cost them a bit more. And then this just ties into another thing that the idiot did. He's insulting talent.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, the Mickey James making fun of weight type stuff. But saying that he doesn't believe Shayna Baszler is a main roster attraction. Okay, regardless of what you think about her.
She got a following. She's going to make you money.
Yeah, what are you going to... they said that he thought this way all the way back to the Royal Rumble. That's why he had Charlotte win instead of her. And it's like, no, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
To have Charlotte not win. Because what are you going to do? You're going to have Shayna Baszler win the title or win the Royal Rumble and then challenge Becky Lynch. Okay. So you're going to have match or whatever. That's what we're headed towards anyway. But if you have Charlotte win, you get Charlotte in the mix. You get the Flair name in the mix. And she can go and bring in the NXT title. Bring in another budding superstar. So now you not just have 2 matches that nobody cares about, doesn't care about, but you have the intrigue thing. Okay, does Charlotte do the job?
I don't think she's good. Well, we'll get there. But...
Does she get... how does that work? You have Becky and Baszler, because Baszler just comes in and, decides to...
Bite people
and draw blood and everything. And then you have whoever Bayley ends up going against. Still,
at this point, we don't know.
Yeah.
There's a month left that I think they're going to try to turn Sasha.
I just think that Vince is more and more losing his mind because, he's just starting to cut his talent's throat, so to speak.
Literally.
With what he's doing and stuff like that. He dogs them. Everybody loses faith in it. They have a shit match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Would you want to give it your all and have a 5-star match with somebody who believes you're crap?
Well, that's going to go with, we saw a couple months ago that Kyrie and Asuka's contracts are coming up, and Kyrie's been on record now that she's really not going to resign. So you're going to see him drop the titles to whoever, probably at WrestleMania, and then you're done seeing Kyrie. I think that quick. I don't know.
I would like to see both of those go to AEW. AEW needs help with their women's division.
Kyrie's going back to New Japan. Without a
see
doubt.
that.
Asuka could, and I think that will help AEW. More news as we'll get to what we broke as well. But your best friend Scott Steiner in the hospital.
Yeah, Big Papa Peckerpooler is. I say jokingly. I don't like the guy or anything like that.
But he collapsed. Serious health issues.
Yeah, he collapsed at the Impact tapings Thursday night, Friday, whenever they were.
I thought it was
Well, today's Sunday.
Friday.
Thursday, Friday, whenever. Collapsed and had to be taken to the hospital.
As a human being, keep him
in your thoughts and prayers is a warning. People, this is what the steroids do. You don't have to be on them at the time that you die. You do them for so many years, they do so much damage.
Yeah.
And you look at the guys that were like that had been off of them for 10 or more years, that still died from the complications. British Bulldog. Chris Candido.
That's the one I was going to say.
Brian Pillman.
I think Louis Piccoli.
Look where Lex Luger is.
Yeah.
With his health and that, he alternates between a wheelchair and
a walker.
And with an assistant. Just not worth it.
No.
Not worth it.
Drugs are bad. And then this Wednesday, I just got done posting the Dalton Wade. If you guys haven't listened to it or wondered what the breaking news was because you didn't listen to it, well, you're crazy. I just got done posting the Dalton Wade interview that I had with him. He made a big impact, and he ruined a couple people in OVW last night as well. But I get a phone call from Chad Miller. He's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Hit the record button." okay, hold on. So I know he's got something, you know. And I hate saying it like this, but he legit only podcast he called. Can Crusher exclusive. He calls when big shit happens. And I know you've listened to it now. You know the gist of it. But it's a pretty sweet deal. 120 million viewers now have their eyes on OVW. Some people have given me some shit on it that it's not all over. It's not on direct. It's not on this. Okay, it's national, folks. Okay,
Yeah, you don't have to have DirecTV or Dish or something like that. You know, granted, is it great to be on there? But where those companies put the screws, and you don't get stuff like until now, like with OVW and that, they want too much damn money.
Yeah, U2 America is what it's going to be on. And if you're like, oh, my provider doesn't carry it, you know what provider does, which makes it not just national, it makes it worldwide? Roku.
Yeah, go get yourself a $40 Roku stick from Walmart or wherever.
Amazon probably has them cheaper, but if you want it today, Walmart's got them in stock.
And you don't need the most expensive one. They have ones, I think they go up to like $60-some.
Yeah, because it has a built-in DVR, and it, cool if you want that. I am buying a Roku now because of that.
Yeah.
It's a $40 charge once. One time. That's paying for one ticket. Not OVW's cheaper, but I'm saying one wrestling ticket to the event you went to last weekend.
Yep.
And you're going to have another wrestling show on a Friday, Saturday night, whatever to watch. Along with other shit. The damn thing's portable. Guess what I'm going to bring with us to the Crockett Cup?
Yeah, you can throw it in, throw it in your computer or whatever and watch it. What I like about this, and this is them coming into play, getting themselves out more, wider audience, everything like that, obviously. But they're joining the likes of like Ring of Honor with their Honor Club, $10 a month, and you get everything that they televise,
right?
Which is a lot. There's very few of their events anywhere that they do not put on there. You get them for free,
right?
And they're a hell of a lot better than WWE. Who else does?
MLW.
New Japan does it.
Well, yeah, if you're talking by like subscriptions, let's do those first. New Japan, you have it. All right, we share it. All right, we're sharing it. There's a plethora of stuff on there from way ago. Little people, and I don't mean it little because I'm going to get punched.
Not like midgets?
No. Indie promotions. Let me say it like that. Indie promotions. IWC, $9 rounding, $10 a month. You have everything they've done since 2012. And some specials. An awesome special, a 2-part special about Britt, one about Wardlow. This is the way it is. And then I have one that I have yet to subscribe for. It's $10 a month. It's called the High Spots Wrestling Network. A lot of people probably know about it. There's just shit from everywhere on this. AML's on it. It just everything. They just come here. Why I haven't subscribed yet? Because I've been cheap. And now I'm going to buy a Roku, so that's going to get pushed aside. But that's just another form of getting wrestling.
And something that I discovered, I don't want to say discovered last night, but ran across, Fight TV is carrying tons and tons of independent wrestling. $5, $10. I think the most that I seen was like $14.
Yeah.
And this isn't, just some Tom, Dick, and Harry in their backyard with a bunch of friends type stuff. These are some promotions that are, signing people and using people like Tessa Blanchard, like Michael Elgin from Ring of Honor. This is a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah. John always writes that it's the new golden era of wrestling, and you know what? I have to agree. I really would right now. And we always bring it up that territories, this is kind of becoming a territory stage again in wrestling.
Yeah, and it's I say it's a rebirth of professional wrestling because for many years it was kind of dead. There just wasn't options out there.
I like what Chad said, that they can legit, and I'm not going to bring up what he told me off air about them, but they can legit sign some contracts now of people for like a year long for X amount of appearances and, for X amount of money. Like, he's like, we can get people from MLW, AEW that are willing to do this. So, you could see, I'm throwing it out there. This is not confirmed. I'm just saying, people. You could go have Darby Allin work, 5 shows at OVW possibly this year. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. I mean, the kids, and I say that loosely, but you guys should know, the younger talent, getting trained at OVW, because folks, they still are, and Al and Chad will both say, they're a training center for them to get to AEW, WWE, all that. How amazing is that, Dalton Wade gets to work with Darby Allin, or whomever else can trickle down through the pipeline. It only helps wrestling across the board.
And what's a little bit different with OVW versus other independents, or most other independents, is they have, now they have, a TV contract, and they're more visible. So not only are they doing the training and stuff,
right?
Now they're getting them more visible, because you can go to an independent thing, and if you're not on TV or anything like that, it's kind of hard to gauge against larger crowds,
right?
And it's how are they going to react when actual cameras and telecast cameras and that are on them versus, hey, we're taping this for our website type deal.
Right.
There's a different ballgame with the wrestlers and how they react and how they perform.
Live.
This is going to give them, hey, you guys, they're not going to want to go out there and do stupid shit and screw around and everything like that, because it would hurt them. They're going to go out there and they're going to want to perform to the best of their capabilities.
Because who knows what creative from AEW, WWE, Impact's always watching OVW due to the fact that, they're a working relationship with them.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's going kind of back in a way towards the territories in that, and it's going to be better for wrestling overall. There's going to be one thing that won't work with anybody like this, and that's fine. But you get all these other ones together and that. All I got to say, you got the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. You got the NWA Resurgence. Crockett Cup.
We're talking about that, yep.
Just saying.
I know. So, we'll move along into the normal wrestling and everything. But I'll cover, I didn't watch, OVW had their Saturday Night Special, which is kind of their monthly pay-per-view last night. I did read the results. I didn't see it yet, so I'll take some time this week at some point to go watch it. We have a new heavyweight champion. Tony Gunn defeated Maximus Khan last night to get the OVW championship back. Tag team championships, the Legacy of Brutality kept their titles. But there was a match, Chad. It was a 3 Wishes Genie in a Bottle match or whatever between Dimes, Corey Storm, and the other 2 members of the Legacy of Brutality. And whoever got this Genie thing, because I didn't watch it, I don't know what it was, if it was a contract and they just called it a Genie in a Bottle, whatever. But Dimes won it, and he got 3 wishes. The first one was saying Jay Bradley, who was a Can Crusher alum. We've seen him a couple times. He was just at Wrestle Rex this past show. Nonetheless, got fired from OVW last night because he's a bully backstage. He's the guy that last Crockett Cup, he choked me. You remember him? He was at the Crockett Cup. He choked me.
Okay. I had to think there for a second what the hell you were talking about.
He choked me, and then we went back down, and him and my wife have a plan going on that they're going to kill me and split the insurance money. So maybe you should get on too. Maybe do a little three-way or something. I don't know. But they're still in contact. I don't know when I'm going to get knocked off.
You got to watch this shit.
I know.
You got to watch what you say about people on this podcast.
I know. So he won't be at OVW when we're there because he got fired. Josh Ashcraft has a stupid ponytail. He got it cut off last night because that was one of Dimes' wish. And then Corey Storm was the Rush champion, which is like their lightweight super high flyers thing. He wished he had that title. And guess what? Corey Storm just had handed over to him. His partner. Yeah.
That's
a dick move.
Yeah.
But again, let's see where that goes. So we'll follow OVW, guys. They're going to be able to be seen in Kentucky on your local channel. On YouTube, it's on, Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. You can roll in and watch that. And then April 3rd, I'm not going to push any place, but I'm going to tell you, do the Roku. Right? You got one. I'm going to go get one this week. Make sure it's all ducky and everything.
Easy to hook up. Bounce from source to source. Your computer, TV, whatever.
YouTube America is the channel they're going to be on, guys. Don't drink for a weekend and buy one. Support OVW. That's what I got to say.
Definitely worth it.
So what else goes with OVW is collar and elbow.
Yes.
And they have, or you told me actually. So let's roll into some collar and elbow news.
Yeah, this was kind of surprising. It's no secret I love listening to Jim Cornette's podcast. Not saying I agree with a lot of stuff or anything, but he's entertaining. He broke it that collar and elbow is now handling all of his
merchandise,
fabric, everything from his burger towels, which there's a story behind those, to t-shirts and everything like that, because his last person decided to try something new on a merchandise shipment of 20,000 items and royally screwed everything up and wouldn't work with them as far as getting them better stuff. So he's like, F this, and he now signed a what do you call it when exclusive contract with collar and elbow,
which works probably better for him because guess what, they're in Louisville.
Yep.
They're right there next to him. He could probably go and help make the designs. I mean, I'm sure he does and everything, but he could physically see them and say, tweak this a little bit, tweak this, because seeing them on the computer and actually seeing how they roll out off of a t-shirt, they look a little different. Trust me. Look at some of our shirts that we've had. But
definitely I can speak of what I had before the other person, and it wasn't bad quality, but the shirts aren't as comfortable.
Right.
They weren't as comfortable. They weren't, they were kind of, I don't want to say patterned, fitting, but that's the only thing I can think of that just didn't lay on you or,
Where collar and elbow
is the most comfortable shirt
out there
I've seen.
Yeah, without a doubt. One more thing about Jim Cornette. Did you see, before we get into our collar and elbow commercial and shtick, did you see he's actually being sued from a wrestler from IWC Rise around this area? And his lawyer is also a wrestler from IWC, the G Raven, the guy that went through all that. David Lawless is actually going after Cornette, and this is rumble. You're getting red as I'm saying this. But this is a whole shtick. Not really a shtick. This is really happening.
Going on. This is complete bullshit. I'm going to say. The whole thing started when Cornette doesn't like these guys that do the
outlandish
stuff, throwing people through 5 layers
houses,
light tubes and everything and stuff. And this idiot Grover did something similar and cut his arm so bad that he had to have major surgery, and he's lost some use of his arm.
Yeah.
And Cornette's just like, you do stupid shit, you get stupid prizes. That's where this kind of started. And then Grover made a shirt with a pretty violent-looking shirt with Cornette's face and name on it. So Cornette's like, okay.
That's me.
He called Stephen P. New. It's copyright issues. That's where this all started. He has no case fighting this. And then he agreed to stop doing it and went to another person trying to hide making these shirts. Again. And he's just not getting it. And his first comments were, what's he going to do? I'm in Pennsylvania.
You can find it.
It's not hard to find.
I can find stuff in Antarctica on this interweb thing here that we have in front of us now.
It's just ridiculous. I see Cornette's thing. The guy's trying to make money and everything like that, but Cornette's got a solid case in this one.
I agree.
This is copyright infringement. This is using somebody else's moniker and name for you to make money without their consent. And Cornette even said, if you want to do this,
throw me some money.
You need to donate X percentage. He didn't even want the money. Cornette didn't even want the money. He said, you need to donate, and he wanted to see the figures. You need to donate X amount of money to
a charity.
Cancer or children or something like that. And this idiot Grover, no. Okay, well, then you're not going to be making anything, and you're going to be out the ass in lawyer fees.
All right, so that's the Cornette news up and about. So, guys, like we always say, Collar and Elbow. We had our shtick about how we love the shirts, and when you check out Collar and Elbow at collarandelbow.com, and you're ready to complete your sale, we have a promo code.
Oh, what could it be?
I don't know.
Can Crushers.
It is.
With capital C's.
Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers, and you'll get 10% off. I'm just saying, thinking the spring line should be coming out, and I'm excited for it. Macho Man's on again today, as normal, which is Al Snow.
I thought you were sniffing because you stunk or something.
I do stink. I still have a little bit of a beer around me, but I know. All right, let's go to Al, and then we'll be back to talk This Week in Wrestling.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, this is Jack Pollock, the IWC Hardcore Icon. You're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. If I like it, you should too.
So, Chad, Jack Pollock bringing us back, which brings up this coming Saturday, March 14th. IWC has IWC 19 in Elizabeth, and Pollock will be putting his title on the line against Jimmy Vegas, who's putting his career on the line.
Yeah, that's a very illustrious career. A lot of titles, wrestled
IWC
a lot
icon.
of places. He is the true definition of an icon.
Yeah.
And this is, you got, regardless of what you think of Vegas, what he did, and what he's done in the past at times, in that he's putting his career on the line. That's a big thing, and this isn't going to be an easy match for either of them. Pollock just being, smaller, he's going to have to pull some stuff out of his
arse. Bloodbath. I really see blood again.
I see blood, and I see a lot
Guts.
a lot of mayhem. This is not going to be contained to the ring except for
the start.
opening lockup and pinfall.
Yeah.
As I think all you're going to see.
This is going to be crazy. More stuff from IWC this week. I don't know what you're going to bring your truck down for here in the near future. You're hauling something? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, in talking with another member of the IWC family, it seems that there is a Elijah Dean fan appreciation claw machine. You know, like they have it
with the toys
at Walmart.
Yeah,
where you can pull toys out,
stuffed animals and
candy
such.
and everything like that. But this one's especially for Elijah Dean because it has toilet paper on it.
Oh my God!
So you can actually put in 50 cents, get a roll of toilet paper, and then throw it at him. I have volunteered. I have volunteered to haul this machine and pay half the rental for it. Who's going to help me out here? This would be perfect. This would be a gift to Elijah Dean.
This would be a gift to the IWC family.
Yeah, you can. Oh, so much money can be made.
Johnny Patch will be over there buying toilet paper.
Johnny Patch will be spending his paycheck before he gets his paycheck over there.
Right. The plumbers need. Let's set this up.
We need to. This would be perfect. Who wants to help out? We can have all the graphics done. Have his face up there. Maybe have some of the.
Now you're really getting into money.
Maybe having. Well, that's not too hard to do. Some
printing
and
we can get some printing company to help us out.
Let's admit it. He's not worth a lot. So we're just gonna
pieces, though.
The dime pieces. We'll get her. Nice picture of her up there. But I mean, we can get some stained toilet paper for them and all kinds of stuff.
Nice. So that's where we're going with that. Before we get into this week's wrestling, which we can go over probably rather quickly.
What the hell? We can't. I just
you want to
this.
get into
I'm sorry.
wrestling right now, or do you want?
No. I want to bring up something from IWC.
Oh, about IWC.
What the hell's Argos trying to pull?
He's lost it.
Oh, he's nuttier than a fruitcake at Christmas.
I thought RC was crazy, but holy
RC's eccentric. He's just weird. Argos is so far in left field, he's in right field.
He doesn't have anybody on his side, and now he's challenged Atticus for the reset button. You do know the rest of the culmination is going to be lingering, right?
What? But Argos
balls.
Argos, he may be a dumbass, but he's not stupid. He's got to have something. Got to have something up his sleeve for this. Are we seeing somebody?
I don't know. He's had ties with who he calls himself the GOAT of IWC.
Chris Jericho?
Jock Sampson. Yeah, Chris Jericho might be there. Jock Sampson. They had ties there. Some broke up, but everything's mended over time. I don't know. Argos is that interview or promo or whatever the hell you want to call it was strange this past week.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know what to think about this.
So, guys, if you haven't get your tickets yet, I believe you'll be able to get them online still. But if not, you can show up at Court Time Sports Saturday. I couldn't think of the word Saturday, Jack. Saturday.
Day after Friday, day before Sunday.
Right. And get your tickets there. And if you're on the West Coast or Montana or Guam or Israel or wherever, if you go to IWCWrestling.com, you can sign up for the network. You can buy the pay-per-view that night and just watch that pay-per-view, which, cool. If you don't want to invest monthly, all right, watch one and see what you think. But your deal is $9.99 a month, and you get shit from 2012 on. And you can just see, again, we continue to see, you see the development of Wardlow, Britt Baker, some guys named Elias are on it, CM Punk guy, and AJ Styles. So, they've had a couple big names.
Yeah. And this isn't just a match or two. These guys have run through there, held the titles.
Yeah.
Who? Christopher Daniels, DJZ.
Yeah, oh yeah. Madison Rain's been there.
Madison Rain.
David Arquette even wrestled once. There.
Okay. Let's go on to something else on that note.
All right, let's, I don't care where you want to start. Let's start with NWA this week. We haven't started with them for a while. TV title match. Zicky Dice against Ricky Starks, and we had a feeling about this last week. Once they, kind of lingered it around, we had a feeling because you said Ricky could probably put in a tag team with somebody, and I said, well, that makes Dice able to wrestle maybe a legend or somebody from another promotion for this TV title. So we kind of knew that we were going to have a new TV champion.
Yeah, I didn't think from the beginning that they were going to have him do the Lucky 7 defenses and stuff like that.
Not the first guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say.
And I don't think it's going to be Zicky Dice either.
No, I don't think it's going to be him either. But it, like you said, it opens it up. I think it's going to be against somebody, a legend that they bring in, or maybe somebody comes out. Total surprise. Is it going to be something? Oh, maybe somebody that hasn't wrestled a lot.
It's endless.
Maybe some guys floating around out there that don't have contracts. Yeah, things like that. There's a couple of them out there.
The Aldous Marty promo was pretty freaking good.
Yeah, those guys are at the top of their game. I really don't think that there is anybody necessarily better than them.
This was our match of the year last year. We both said from last year's Crockett Cup, this is our match of the year. As much as they have invested, and I don't think it's going to be a letdown. I'm worried. As much as they're doing now, is it going to hold up to last year's match?
I think it is, and I think there's going to be different aspects that is going to be introduced. I think there's going to be...
You can't say blood because, my God, this was a stuffed pig last year.
Yeah, when he got kicked right in the mush, that was not intended to go that way. I think a manager, I think somebody new interfering, because we did have Aldous cost PCO the ROH title.
Yep.
You're gonna have my boy there at the Crockett Cup, Flip Gordon.
Yep.
This is gonna be the feud, starting a big feud between Aldous' gang and Villain Enterprises.
Oh, without a doubt. Strictly business against Villain Enterprises. You can buy a Mongrovian flag. It's about time.
Yes. And did you see something that I brought up months ago?
I know.
Months ago.
I know.
NWA finally got with it, and it's about time that they were being disrespectful to the Mongrovian people, the 2.5 billion people. They were being disrespectful.
They're going to be able to watch OVW now, too.
And not showing the Mongrovian flag with the other ones, China and what's that country north of us?
Canada.
Yeah. And New England or England or whatever.
New England has their own flag?
Whatever.
Does it have Tom Brady on it? Aaron Stevens and our boy, are challenging the Rock and Roll Express next week. Rock and Roll's already said they're in the Crockett Cup. I don't want to see Stevens and in the Crockett Cup. Stevens got to defend the national championship.
I would tend to agree with you, but I just don't see them having more than a couple of singles matches with this only being a one-day tournament.
Right, I know.
And Aldous and Skrull is going to be
an hour long.
I'm thinking around 45 minutes
with
or
so
actual in ring.
So, yeah.
I just don't see them having a ton of other single matches. Last year, what did they have?
National, and the women's.
Yeah. Was the only other one.
And we have a friend. Miggy has made it to the studio, so I don't know what's going on. Nonetheless, I didn't like this next match, the last chance match. I didn't like this. You just lost the Dawsons. They're fired now from NW. They're one of the big teams or something. You got something to say?
I think you're going to see a team that resembles them.
The Midnight Riders?
The Midnight Riders are going to come in. They're going to have masks on.
With a question mark on it?
No question mark. Maybe an exclamation point.
Semicolon? Semicolon actually means something. I should start.
What about a hashtag?
Yes!
They could call them the hashtag.
The hashers.
They could call them hash and tag. There's something wrong with us people, yes.
May and Sal, you see this fight starting with Peyton. I was going to say Peyton Royce. Whatever. Whatever. The Beer Buddies, that's what I'm calling them. Eli, Drake, and Storm against the Bouncers. God, I love the Bouncers.
Those are some big boys that can move.
And then this is just setting up for Pope and Kingston. This is going to be one of the matches I think that's maybe second, right after the first round of the Crockett Cup. This is going to be something on the Crockett Cup. They've set it up way too long.
I'm still saying my pick, I'm going to state it again, my pick to win it is going to be Storm and Drake.
First time tag team champions win it.
Yep.
Against Rock and Roll Express in the finals. They lose one more time and they hang it up.
I'm going to say Rock and Roll's probably going to get beat
early
in the first round.
Yeah.
We were
pulling for it, but
I would love to see it, but they're getting up there, and you get a team.
No disrespect to them.
No disrespect, but the Briscoes have a beef. I think the Briscoes are going to could possibly play into it.
The other part of Villain Enterprises.
Yeah, there's just some teams out there with backup that I think that's where the Rock and Roll Express is going to get hurt.
Unless they bring back Jimmy Valiant, which I saw him help me out. English professor, was it 5, maybe 7 years ago? He's smaller than Vinny is. He rough shape.
You know who would be a good one for Rock and Roll to bring in?
If you're
watch their backs.
You're gonna say Cornette.
No, George South. Since he lost,
he did
the title.
Did you catch any of that? By the way, it looked like a bloodbath.
Yeah, he was ripped to shreds. He looked like an Abdullah the Butcher Carlos Colon match in Puerto Rico.
That was unbelievable. But that is going to be. That's one of the reasons why now I'm going to get high spots, because I've fallen in love with AML when we were down at WrestleCade. They put on some great shit.
Yeah.
Not only the wrestling, the nerd of me, their stage, their lights and. Again, pomp and circumstances is just the words I'm using today. All of that glitz and glamour, I like what they do. They don't go overboard. They don't do nothing.
Like WWE, they don't go overboard.
Right.
But they have enough in there to where it's, catches your attention and it adds to the show. It doesn't detract from it.
Right. Exactly. So NWA, again, I'm not saying it was bad. It's done what it's needed to do. They're going to... I don't know if they have a show again this week.
Next week is the Super Card of Honor, if I'm remembering right, for Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Next weekend. And there is multiple...
so you mean this coming in 2 days is a big show for NWA?
No. The following weekend.
Okay, 9 days.
Yeah. Super Card of Honor... Flip Gordon's challenging for the ROH title. PCO's going against Nick Aldis for the NWA title. Huge card. So I think they're kind of building a little bit.
Well, I know they have a 2-hour show coming up soon. Then Power has a Superpower. It's called. It's going to be a 2-hour show. I think it's that following Tuesday. Yeah. So, quickly through WWE, because you talked about the best part of Raw already.
Yeah.
Drew just pummeled Brock.
And this will really surprise you, and I want to make sure you're sitting, you're not going to fall out of your seat. You know what I thought was probably very close to beating Brock and Drew out for first?
No.
Was just seeing Liv Morgan.
Oh, I want to talk about that. That's actually something that, I have notes.
Brought up last week about her.
I brought up, yeah. So we have new tag team champions too. Whatever. I'm not a Street Profit fan at all. I like the Young Bucks better than them.
They're going to lose the titles
quickly.
Tonight.
Yeah. If not tonight, I don't think Seth and Murphy need them. I think the AOP do need them to make themselves. All they do is stand in the background with this ministry or whatever the hell they're doing here. I don't know. There's times I like it, and there's times that it's just too much. I don't know.
I just want Seth. I want somebody to challenge Seth and beat him, and then shave his man bun off.
Nice. I posted this too this week. Ricochet is he should leave. He taking that loss to Brock at Saudi, and then just getting crushed in a 20. He can't even do anything in a 24/7 match. Are they going to try to repackage him? Or, I mean, he's young. He's got so much time. He probably has a contract longer than whatever. But not that I'm a fan because I don't like his flippiness. But my God, he has fallen.
I got a few words. Lax 2.0.
Yeah.
Just think. Turn him prickish. He goes with Andrade and who's the other guy? The one
Garza.
Garza. The Latino connection or something like that. Because Ricochet is good. He does the flippy. You know, that the match that I seen last week in State College, he actually wrestled a good bit, you know, and stuff, and he can, but they just chose to
not
promote him. And Vince's shit over him. That's another one that Vince is, you know, crapped on. And if you don't have Vince behind you, you're not having anybody behind you.
Anderson against Black, which turns out to be Black against Gallows, which turns out Black against AJ. AJ gets the pin with The Undertaker. Just that match is happening.
Yeah, now after this week, the AJ and Undertaker match is going to happen.
We'll save Liv and Ruby for last because I do want to talk about it. Rowan's fucking spider. I'm sorry. I should probably edit that out. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know like
because
that. That is
this storyline had my better half. What the hell is he going to have in there? And we talked about it. I said they're going to pull something where they're going to have him sitting on top of a box and somebody's going to pull the cover off and there's going to be somebody's head in there talking or something like that. No, they have a remote control spider,
which looks horrible. I've seen better ones,
and
they didn't even get a good one.
I mean, it wasn't even a camel spider, and those things are that big and bigger.
Kairi Sane against Baszler was not a great match.
No, that was a sacrifice with Asuka being injured from State College match.
Ray and Humberto against Almas and Garza. Team Ray wins. Beth Phoenix, guys, once they said last week she was going to be on the show,
you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. All right, so to Liv against Ruby, and they slid this in because I didn't catch it until like 2 minutes into the match. God bless you. Sarah Logan is special referee. I love this.
I seen her, and they kept saying the name, and I was like, who the hell are they talking about? I mean, obviously, I knew what they all were, but I look at her, I'm like, you know, without all the crazy
without
and
the
that,
deer stuff on, and I know you're a hunter, so don't touch me, but without having antlers growing out of her nose and this, that, and
face paint and everything.
God,
she's cute. Holy crap.
Cute, and she does a good job. Are we going to get a three-way out of this? Because Liv got the quick...
Oh, wrestling match. Sorry.
Liv got the quick... That would be a four-way with you. Liv got a quick count from Sarah after they had some beef, and I like where they're going. You know, Ruby was red hot when she got injured. So they're trying to get her back up there. I really... Because I love Ruby. I love me some Heidi. You know, she did great on the indies. I love her. The Ruby Riott thing, I think, put it kind of, the whole squad thing, I mean, kind of slowed her down in the WWE. Right before she got injured, she was red hot. I saw her maybe winning the Money in the Bank and cashing in and having a title for a little bit or whatever. Injury hits and she's out for 9 months. So
yeah, this, I think that was set up. I wish there would have been a little bit more to it. I wish they would have maybe advertised it or something like that. But it wasn't bad.
No.
I like the way it played out, and then Sarah Logan destroying them both. It sets up more personal shit for the Elimination Chamber tonight.
Yeah, which we might touch on. I might watch it too. I don't know.
I'll have it on because the little one. There's nothing that I think that's going to come out of there.
No.
The only thing
tag champs is the only thing I can see switching.
The one thing that I got to say, I think is going to be kind of the women's Elimination Chamber. I'm not sure who's going to win that.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's going to be Baszler. But I don't know. This shit could change. That's the match, if there's one I'm interested in, is the women's one. It really is.
I mean, do they they have somebody win, like say, I don't know, maybe have Liv win or have Ruby win, and then, I'm challenging Becky. Well, I've already. Are they going to have a 3-way again?
No. I hope, for WrestleMania's sake, I hope not.
Well, WrestleMania's already screwed Goldberg and Roman Reigns.
SmackDown sucked.
SmackDown, the only thing out of note was they had
and it was, if you're going to say
match
this,
for the tag team elimination.
Oh, okay.
Who goes in last?
Zig and Rude.
Yeah.
Well, you push Heavy Machinery through 5 people, and then Zig and Rude wins. And the whole storyline with him and Mandy, I'm sick of that.
Yeah, now it's kind of crapped out. Now it's just not as funny and amusing as it was, especially with Dolph Ziggler, because
he doesn't need any one of these 3.
He'll sleep with anything that moves in WWE. He's like Shawn Michaels was.
Yeah.
He had sunny days.
Right, he had sunny days.
It's just...
She's out of jail, by the way, just so you know. Alexa Bliss is getting buried. I love Moment of Bliss. I'm all right with it. She just stood there. In this NWO chat, I vomited in my mouth. Like,
the best part of that whole segment was when Sami Zayn
carried
it as usual. When he said to X-Pac, he was like, "You were you knew how much the Intercontinental title weighed because you were carrying her bags the whole time." That's the only reason X-Pac was ever any popular, is because of his friends. He wasn't that good. That was a case of knowing who your friends are and getting a push from them.
Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, whatever we're going to call him today, it's just in my head, had no clue where he was.
No,
I'm not saying he was drunk or anything, but he was... Nash would speak, Pac would speak, and then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, I did that too. He sounded like a bozo down the street.
I think he's got dementia.
I have dementia.
Just with the way he acted and the way he's acted.
AEW time, all right? Moxley starts the show, talks about winning, here comes the Inner Circle. They're giving Moxley, spoiler, they're giving Moxley 60 days to see how he can carry this company.
Yep.
You all right with that? Because Jericho's carried the company. Let's throw our balls on the table.
Jericho was the smart one to win it and win the title and everything. I think Moxley's going to push the envelope. A
little hardcore.
I think he's gonna go after Cody. I think he's gonna challenge Cody. Cody says, "I'll never challenge for the title again." Okay, I'm giving you a title shot.
Cody's got some stuff to worry about.
Yeah, Cody's got some other things, but I think he's gonna go after. Cody at some point.
I could see it.
And there's so many more people. Again, said this last week after the results. There's so many more people that Moxley can challenge and have good matches than there is Jericho. Honestly, who are you going to see Jericho battle that you're going to believe stands a chance against him?
Right.
Who?
Yeah, right.
I agree. This is a good move at this time. Let's Jericho go and do his thing. You know, they'll fight. Moxley will have the title 4 or 6 months, probably.
Yeah.
At least.
Jericho will be back in the picture. And he doesn't need to be in the championship picture, but he'll be back into it.
I'm telling you, I think the person that's going to beat Moxley for the title is going to be Wardlow.
That'd be great. I'm all right with that.
He's
our boy.
I see something happening, somebody, some kind of thing, tournament or something for a title shot, and Wardlow winning it, MJF getting upset by somebody, maybe Jungle Boy or something like that. MJF thinking, hey, you need to give me the title shot. I'm in charge. And he turns on him. I think that's who's going to beat Moxley for the title.
I'm all in with that. Literally all in, double down, double or nothing. I'm not going to be all out.
Blood and guts.
Which That is actually, I wrote that down too. We're going to skip notes and just do, that's actually the name of the match. Did you catch on to that? It's not the match Beyond or whatever the hell we were talking about last week. They've actually...
Because they don't want to run into the crap.
Yeah. But the match is called Blood and Guts, and this week they're going to give us the rules. Cool. We'll talk about that next week. The rules. They're probably going to be pretty similar to what we think already, but... Britt on commentary again. This Big Swole Leva Bates match was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was
Leva
bad.
Bates needs to drop the... I mean, she's cosplaying a librarian, cool. But when she came out as a Leva Taker or Leva Rider, that's her shtick. When she came out in like Wrestle Circus and all that as another wrestler and did their moves.
Who did that used to do that back in the 90s? They'd come out as a different person every week.
Al Snow did it for a while.
Al Snow was the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I remember he'd come out as Hogan and...
Yeah, he came out as Avatar, and yeah, he came out as random stuff. Cody...
You gotta talk about Britt Baker's, bringing Tony, taking care of Tony Schiavone again, bringing him out a latte no foam with his face on there.
She really likes him now.
She those two are funny together.
They are.
It makes a good pair, and then Jim Ross made him turn it around. He's like, "You're famous, man. Take advantage of it."
Right?
Just subtle comedy without the stupidity.
That she's
she's
growing each week. She really is. She's great. We can't give her enough praise. Cody in the ring, MJF comes out, and then whoop! It was not MJF. Jake the Snake.
Yeah, I was wondering what in the hell. Why the hell's one side of his head shaved? Let's just get that out.
And blonde.
Okay. I don't know.
Midlife crisis? What?
Midlife?
Well, late life crisis? I mean, what?
I don't know, but
okay, so
he waddles down to the ring.
We have two people that are now coming to AEW. One for the Dark Order, one with Jake.
And three people out there with no contracts.
Matt Hardy.
Brody,
or Harper, however you guys are going to remember.
Archer.
And Lance Archer.
And Lance Archer was supposed to be on this week.
Yep.
And they pulled him off. I can't remember what I read about it. It was nothing bad. They wanted to do something else and bring him in with more of an impact. So,
is that your impact, Jake Snake? I'm saying the promo, I was on the edge of my seat like a child again listening to him.
Yeah, that was, minus his voice being so bad, the promo was a good promo. This is going to be the Brody.
You think Brody against
I just
Cody?
think Brody and Cody because it's
Hardy
Jake the Snake and the dark, thing, and this guy not giving a shit and everything like that. That would all fit in with Brody versus Lance Archer or Matt Hardy.
Hardy, I think I'm
Hardy's going to be there as a.
I'm thinking it's going to be the Dark Order. Chuck Taylor against Pac. We're getting way too... I'm jumping on the bandwagon. We're getting way too many factions. Why do we need the death triangle of hell or whatever between Pac and the Lucha Brothers? Why? Are we going... Or is that setting up that we're going to get the 6-man titles back? I mean, I know ROH sometimes has them, and sometimes they promote them, and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, but this is a title that means something to the Rhodeses, right?
Yeah, it could be the the next title that they bring out.
So we have factions out the ass.
Yeah,
we could settle down a little bit with the factions. Tully Blanchard and Sean Spears looking for the perfect partner.
I've already submitted my.
Did you?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm getting my belt shined up, and I'm going to hold my belts out like this.
I can give you one more too.
Maybe grab Ethan and give him a brainbuster, slingshot brainbuster, something.
QT comes out with Brandy and Dustin to take on Jake, and Matt comes out.
It was a good feed for Hager.
Yeah.
QT Marshall's been around for a while. He's a good wrestler. I didn't understand Cody and Brandy coming out there, or Dustin coming out there. Dustin I did understand. Brandy, it's just another thing of, unfortunately, her getting herself on the air.
Yep.
Dustin made sense. Loved that they got the Jericho's bitch chant going. The match served its purpose.
MJF, I pinned Cody's shirt, knockoff. I broke Wahoo's leg thing. I like that.
Oh,
I like that.
Did you see who one of the interviewers are backstage that has been interviewing MJF? Did you realize who the one is? It's Diamond Dallas Page's daughter.
Well, he wore that shirt. I banged Diamond Dallas Page's
That's what I'm
daughter.
saying. It's her daughter, or his daughter, is one of the interviewers backstage.
Nice. He may have banged her. Jericho and Sammy G against Darby and Mox, and this match was it was what it needed to be to try to get Moxley out so Jericho could stay around for 60 days. Oh, but he doesn't stay around for 60 days. Note of this match is Darby gets hurt.
Yeah, he takes... I mean, this match was Darby shining.
Yeah.
And
because Moxley literally laid around.
They're going to have Jericho has some time. His time off isn't going to start. So they're kind of, they're keeping him in, trying to get some... I think maybe Moxley gives him a rematch on TV. Bunch of shit goes on. Moxley retains. Jericho's gone.
Right.
But this was for Darby to shine, which he did. Until he went for a dive, and Jericho hit him with the Judas effect right in the mush.
Yeah.
And
Full
laid him out. I mean, it was no...
Effect.
You could tell when Jericho hit him and Darby went down, Jericho was like, shit. But he's going to be okay. Slight fracture. Not going to keep him out of...
Not long.
Not long at all.
All right, speaking about not keeping anybody out long, he's been biting at the bit. Let's bring in the English professor to do his shtick, and then we'll be back to wrap this up.
Mark pulled into the St. Mary's High School gym in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. I had a spray bottle of water and a small tube of gel that I had brought with me from home. I had already gelled my hair, but I brought these items along in case my hair needed a touch-up. I looked in the mirror of the passenger side visor and re-wet my hair with a few sprays. I squirted more than the recommended pea-sized glob of gel into my palm, swished it around in my hands, and pushed my hair back, pressing my hands firmly against my head to get a greater slicked look. I wet the curl hanging between my eyes and gave it a few more twists. I pulled it once or twice to make sure it would boing back and forth. Mark was anxious to get in the building, but he understood how important this was to me. Another quick observation, and I felt my hair was perfect. Okay, let's go, I said, opening the door. One black loafer with no socks stepped onto the pavement, then the other. A short-sleeved white button-down shirt with black zigzag designs draped untucked over my black pants. 3 unbuttoned holes on my shirt revealed 4 gold chains with various charms, including a crucifix and other religious symbols, which didn't exactly fit the costume. I checked my breast pocket. Even though I had a toothpick in my mouth and another behind my ear, I wanted to make sure I remembered my round plastic toothpick dispenser because I planned to flick toothpicks all night long. I opened the back door and grabbed my homemade sign, which had 1 semicircle cut out of each side and a hole cut out of the middle near the top. The 2 R's on my poster were colored black with Sharpie. The azer of the first word was decorated with green marker and accented with green glitter, while the amon in the second word followed the same ornamental pattern but in red. We got into school, and there was a fellow teenager who thought he was funny. "Hey, Elvis," he exclaimed, looking at my greasy, slicked hair. "Hey, Chico," I responded, pulling the toothpick from my mouth with my index finger and thumb and flicking it towards his chest. The toothpick behind my ear, the backup toothpick, took the place of the one in my mouth. I reached into my shirt pocket, twisted the cap, and pulled out another toothpick to put behind my ear. The circular progression of dispenser, ear, mouth was an important cycle. I was certain that to break that cycle and produce the toothpicks out of order would create a tear in the space-time continuum, or at least cost Razor Ramon his match later that night. Diesel was in a match earlier on the card against Bob Backlund. This was just before WrestleMania 10, so Diesel was about to get a huge push, and Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels was easily the hottest feud. and Lex Luger versus Yokozuna was a bit of a joke. I never bought Lex as a Sergeant Slaughter type or even a Hacksaw Jim Duggan type, and Brett versus Owen wasn't quite in full swing yet. When the Can Crushers met Kevin Nash in 2013, we told him how we saw him wrestle nearly 20 years earlier against Bob Backlund. "Oh yeah?" he asked. "That must have been a snoozer." He said it. We didn't. We screamed Diesel's name over and over again as he went back to the St. Mary's locker room following his victory with a backbreaker, catching Backlund in a cross body block and slamming him down across his knee. Diesel blew us off with a wave of his arm that seemed to say, "Shut up." "Yeah!" Mark and I screamed. We were brushed off by Diesel. This was awesome. Later, as Shawn Michaels waited in the ring with his fake Intercontinental title, the ring announcer said, "And his opponent." Mark and I listened for the music, but the sound system made it sound like metal garbage cans getting kicked down a flight of steps. We couldn't decipher the screech of the tires or the slow, swanky gangster beat. But once Razor came through the door, none of that mattered. We jumped and screamed, along with the rest of the crowd in the gym. Mark and I have been to larger arenas for sure, but I'll speak for both of us when I say that we never, before or since, heard a louder or more visceral reaction to any wrestler. To quote Pat Patterson, "The crowd went banana." The match was very good, probably better than we gave it credit for at the time, with reversals and a lot of action in and out of the ring. This isn't a matter of rosy-colored glasses. The reason we didn't love the match as much then was because we wanted to see Razor cut Shawn to shreds. But that didn't happen. If it had, WrestleMania 10 would have been anticlimactic. Razor ripped the mat off the gym floor, grabbed Shawn's hair, and tucked his head between his knees. The crowd came to its feet, eager for the bad guy to exact revenge, remembering how the Miami Cuban took a Razor's edge from Shawn on the pavement on Monday Night Raw. But Michaels backdropped Razor onto the exposed pavement instead. Back in the ring, Shawn looked to add insult to injury by finishing Razor with his own move. He tucked Razor's head between his knees and lifted him. He got as far as a pile driver position when Razor regained his balance and flipped Michaels over his head. Michaels held on to Razor's knees to try for a sunset flip, but Razor dropped his knees across Michaels' shoulders and hooked his ankles behind him for the 3. It was the same finish as Wembley Stadium when Bulldog beat Brett. The crowd erupted again. Mark and I had mixed feelings. Razor won cleanly, but never got his finisher on Michaels. In other words, we were left satisfied, but wanting more. Mission accomplished. It looked like Mark would be getting WrestleMania 10 at his house. After the card, we went to Wendy's. "Hey, yo, chica," I said to the girl behind the counter. "Óyame, the bad guy wants a Dave double." "Okay, here to go," she asked, half amused but probably secretly hoping we would leave with our food. Of course we stayed. We sat down with our trays when a man at the table next to ours tapped his son on the wrist. "Look," the man said to his boy, who was probably 5 or 6 years old. "It's Razor Ramon." The kid looked at me, unsure if I was whom his dad said I was. I had the clothes and the hair and the toothpicks, but this kid was sure Razor was taller with bigger pecs and a solid core, not shorter with a rounder middle. "Are you really Razor Ramon?" he worked up the courage to ask. "Yeah, man," I answered. "Then how come you have your gold? IRS has your gold." Smart kid. 1-2-3 Kid missed the card that night. Had he been there, we would have seen 4 members of the Clique and the future Wolfpack. WWE is so anxious to capture the magic of these special performers that they brought them back for an episode of Smackdown that my son and I did not watch. Not even the promise of Razor Ramon and Diesel can get me to tune in again. I've mentioned before that I started watching pro wrestling again after about a 13-year hiatus. Meeting Kevin Nash at the event I mentioned earlier, coupled with the excitement of the big-time wrestling card that same night, got me hooked again. But when it comes to WWE, my son doesn't even turn on the TV anymore. And I don't encourage him to do anything he doesn't really want to do. I went back and listened to the great majority of our episodes, starting with our very first, just to kind of see where we were, where we've come, and because I'm getting old and feeling like I'm starting to repeat myself, so I want to make sure I don't tell the same story twice on this segment. What I found was that for the last year and a half or so, WWE has recklessly abandoned one storyline after another without any resolution. The storylines they do decide to continue for any length of time, like Lana Lashley or Mandy Otis, are so stupid, harebrained, and corny that they are an insult to my 9-year-old's intelligence. As we head towards WrestleMania, Vince McMahon continues to make changes on a whim. He's burying Ricochet, perhaps for some perceived slight. He suddenly can't trust Shayna Baszler, who's a terrific performer and made a full commitment to the neck-biting story, despite likely questioning her life choices in that moment. At WrestleMania 9, the Narcissist beat Mr. Perfect in a battle to determine who is more perfect. Someone over at the WWF didn't know the definition of perfect, apparently. Nevertheless, Luger won, and Hennig had a run-in with Shawn Michaels in the back. The next night on Raw, Perfect caught up with the boy Tonga in the parking lot, pulled his hair, spun him around, and threw him through a car windshield. One feud was over, and another started. Maybe instead of thrusting Baszler into the spotlight, which I think she can handle, but Vince is unsure, a program with Sonya Deville could have worked. Both have submission and martial arts backgrounds, both are fun to watch in the ring, both have untapped potential, and both are pretty hot right now, making the most of their putrid storylines, with Sonya as the third wheel in Mandy's love life and Shayna being a vampire or something. Put Baszler over and push that towards a story with Becky at SummerSlam. Sonya doesn't lose any face and maybe shows up on Raw and puts a beat down on some villainous female athlete. Or maybe she turns on Mandy and works towards a program with her at SummerSlam with Sonya winning and moving forward. I'd like to say, you're welcome, WWE, but this is all a moot point. WWE will continue with the nonsense and lack of focus that have plagued its programming since before Can Crusher's first episode. So with that, the Professor family is checked out. WWE is entertainment, but we are not entertained. Instead, we are angry and hostile when we watch it. Mark and Chad are better men than I for continuing to cover this mess and for trying to make some sense out of it. Granted, there will likely be a moment or two during each episode in which the immensely talented performers will do something special. But for me, that can't undo the segments in the back with Shane McMahon nodding to his lawyers, and his lawyers nodding back at him. Then Shane nods back to them, then they nod back to him. No one thinks to actually say any words. That must be because they can all read each other's thoughts. Amazing. During the height of the Monday Night Wars, both promotions said each 15-minute segment had to be must-watch TV. They couldn't afford to have us change the channel even for a moment. AEW still has that memo, as Chris Jericho promised to leave AEW for a certain period of time if Jon Moxley walked out of the arena on his own. Just when the Undisputed Era thought they were finished with him, Moxley returned following his scheduled tag team match. So is Jericho leaving? They beat up Moxley again. So is Jericho staying? Rumor has it that Jericho is taking time off to travel with his band. Even with all of the cyber information available to us constantly, AEW can still put on a show that leaves us wondering what will happen next. Couple that with a solid match in which Darby Allin routinely fought a handicap match against Jericho and the Spanish God while fighting off the other three members of that faction, and you have an engaging story that can stand alone for that one night, but also keep you coming back to find out what happens next. I like Roman Reigns. My son worships him. I love the Usos. My son teams them up with his figures and calls them the Samoan Shield. They've lasted longer as a group in my son's promotion than on WWE television. I'll tune into AEW to see who Jake Roberts is bringing in to fight Cody. I'll tune into the NWA to hopefully see Eddie Kingston get his hands on Pope. Come on, Eddie, show him how we get down, baby. And I'm looking to finally tuning into OVW. I followed three organizations when I was a kid: Jim Crockett Promotions, WWF, and AWA. I hope to continue following three organizations now, but WWE will not be one of them. In today's English Tip of the Week, let's look at should have and determine which verb tense should follow it. Some people mistakenly use the past tense to follow should have, but we should be using the past participle. The past tense indicates something happened and is over and done. A past participle indicates something that could have or should have happened, but didn't. For example, the past tense of go is went. The past participle of go is gone. But which should we use to follow should have? Should have gone or should have went? Jack Tunney should have gone out there and reversed Danny Davis's controversial decision. Or Jack Tunney should have went out there and reversed Danny Davis's controversial decision. Had Jack Tunney done that, we'd say he went out there. It's in the past. But he didn't do that. So the answer is he should have gone. If it's something that didn't happen, but it should have, then it should have gone. I should have known Raw would suck this week. Or should I have knew that Raw would suck this week? Which is the past tense and which is the past participle? Knew is the past tense. Known is the past participle. While Raw sucking is in the past and present and future, I didn't know it at the time. So we can't use the past tense. We need to use the past participle. So the answer is I should have known Raw would suck this week. In one more example, would we say the referee should have did something about Bobby Heenan's interference, or the referee should have done something about Bobby Heenan's interference? Which is the past tense of do, and which is the past participle of do? Did is the past tense. Done is the past participle. Did indicates that something already happened, but the referee never did anything about it. So the answer is should have done. The referee should have done something about Bobby Heenan's interference. And with that, class,
You're dismissed.
Hey everybody, all the Livewire fans out there, and you wrestling fans, I love you all. This is the Livewire KTD, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast. You want all the news on wrestling? Tune in to Can Crushers Podcast and listen to all the top wrestlers out there today. You got the top OVW wrestlers. You got me. You got Randall Floyd. You got Jay Lee. You got some of the best today being trained by some of the best on Can Crushers Podcast. Tune in, listen, learn, love, laugh.
Another great piece from the English professor, right?
Yeah, I hate to say it, he's earning his contract.
He is.
He's earning his contract.
He is. So, I don't know, Chad. I don't really know how we're going to wrap this up, but you were telling me a little bit off air as the English professor was just rambling that you found some new wrestling that's old wrestling.
Yeah, I've just been kind of bored watching a lot of, WWE or anything like that. AEW's great, but I started, let's go back. So I got an
Back
ROH.
to the Future?
No.
By the way, wait a minute. Facebook has all this stuff that you can buy. One of the guys needs a car at work. Okay, so we're just, all of us are on Facebook trying to find this guy a car at work. In Pennsylvania somewhere, I don't remember, somebody's selling a DeLorean for $58,000. It's only got 1,200 miles on it. It's from the 80s, so why does it only have 1,200 miles on it?
Well,
come on, I just set the joke up. Because when you go back in time, you lose the miles, too.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, go ahead.
Anyway, went on to ROH and went into their compilations. This is the second part to what I told you.
By the way, that's the first time you got compilations correct in about a month, but go ahead.
Yeah, they had compilations in there. And I watched AJ Styles one. And this was back, he was wrestling Matt Sydal. Sydal, however they would pronounce it, Sydal. This is a good compilation of AJ's matches from early years in that. ROH has great. It's well worth it. The other thing, I just was like, I want to see some Smoky Mountain stuff. Cornette talks about it. A lot of people say how great it was, and that. So I got on YouTube and Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I found 2 of their pay-per-views, Bluegrass Brawl and Thanksgiving Thunder or something like that.
What year were we looking at here, roughly?
Early 90s.
Okay.
Excellent shows. There's guys on there that I had never heard of. Bobby Blaze.
No.
I had never heard of. He reminds me of Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics. Brian Lee, who we knew, on there early in his career. They had Tony Anthony on there. A match between Tony Anthony and who the hell was it? It was Brian Lee for the Smoky Mountain title. 4 corners match. Just a great freaking match. Great match. Tracy Smothers, Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, Jimmy Del Rey's thing with Gigolo, Jimmy Del Rey. Excellent cards. Both of them well worth watching. I actually sat there last night, half an hour, 45-minute break in between them, and that's what I watched for probably almost 6 hours last night.
Nothing else on TV.
No, there's nothing that...
No, nothing worth... That's what I mean. we're getting spring training baseball that you text me.
Yeah,
son of a bitch, I'm watching baseball again.
Yes, Mark's gotten talking about baseball, and I've started to watch it again. I think I'm gonna, stick with it a bit this year and not see how the Houston Asterix do.
Yeah, no doubt. Don't watch the Tigers. I'll tell you right now, do not watch the Detroit Tigers.
Watch the Asterix for about 3 innings yesterday, and they were getting booed every single time they took the field or a batter come up.
And that's just in their home of spring training.
Yeah, it's going to be bad this year. They're already stealing signs, fan signs, that is.
I saw that. They made a bobblehead. I think it's Bregman. They ripped his head off and they put a camera on the bobblehead, and that's Breg. If I can find it, I'm gonna get it. You didn't say anything, by the way.
The new setup in the office, but on the compilations. Go out there, guys. Look out there on YouTube. There's some really good quality stuff for the older things. There's always your little clips and stuff like that, but there's some full cards out there. Definitely go for the Smoky Mountain ones. Very, very entertaining. It's older, NWA type format. Cornette, Les Thatcher, Lance Russell were behind it. What's the guy that's used to be with Al Snow and OVW?
Danny Davis.
Danny Davis was behind it. Great wrestling.
Nice.
But The Office.
I got rid of a bookshelf. I got rid of
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So the bookshelf is gone.
It's upstairs. We want more room to move. We can do activities now. Changing a wall around. Yeah, not really moving a wall. Just not really changing much, but just...
Maybe you should put like a portable toilet here so when you come in the door, you go for the toilet and not the couch.
I was thinking like a kegerator.
That too. that too.
What's coming up for us? We have IWC this weekend in Elizabeth. I said we were going to go back to Imagine on the 21st, and I can't. If you go, I have some stuff for you to go. Whatever. There was Imagine last night, but again, it's just I'm packed out the ass with things going on. April, of course, we have the Crockett Cup. We have an Imagine that we're going to go in there. Before that, IWC has their Night of Superstars in Meadville. Guys, this is all on our website. We're going to go to the Extreme Midget Show in Punxsutawney. Yesterday, real quick, this is going to run long, by the way. Yesterday was the big event in New York City where it's just a meet and greet. A lot of people backing out. Because of the coronavirus and stuff like that. We make joke at it, guys. Whatever. Wash your hands. Don't spit and cough on people, and I think you'd be okay.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm not even gonna.
Don't go in.
I got so much wisecracks about it.
I don't want emails all week about this damn disease.
There is one show I want to bring up that's going to be on Fight TV next week. FSW Mecca 6.
What does FSW mean? You don't know.
No, I don't know, but I've seen the people that are going to be on here. Brian Pillman Jr., the guy that used to do the Full Nelson in WWE.
Chris
Masters.
That could have been Billy Jack Haynes as well.
Tessa Blanchard is going to be on this show.
How much is this?
$15 on Fight TV.
What day?
The 15th.
That's Sunday. That's next Sunday. What time?
You got to make me bring it up again, damn it. 8 o'clock.
At night?
Yep.
Maybe we'll watch that together, huh?
Yeah. And there's, I shared this.
By the way, next Sunday is my birthday, too, you dick. Right?
Are you expecting a gift?
That pay-per-view would be amazing.
Okay. 18th anniversary, ROH coming up also. That's actually next week too. That is on the 13th.
We got our Crockett Cup tickets last week. We got our ROH tickets this week.
No tickets. I joked around with the wife about putting
we didn't get the tickets yet?
What?
For the ROH.
Yeah, we got those last week.
Oh, yeah. All right, whatever. I knew.
Oh, I got those in the mail within 10 minutes, or within email within 10 minutes.
That's the quickest mailman I've seen.
I joked with the wife about putting 2 more titles on layaway.
Yeah.
She looked at me and said, "How much did you spend on tickets last week?" And I was like, "Yes, dear."
So what did she buy?
Oh my God. Some clothes, some jewelry and stuff, kind of making herself a little bit more prepared for work and everything.
Big pimpin'.
She's, what the hell else is she getting? We're going to upgrade her computer, because she's seen how fast mine runs and everything, so...
Look at you, helping your wife.
It's her money. It's not my money.
She's helping herself.
My money went out the door with the damn tickets.
Right?
I think I spent $900 in tickets last week.
All right, guys. So we're wrapping this up. Go to ratethispodcast.com/CanCrushers. Help us out. Give us some views. Tell us you hate us. Anything you write on there is going to help us out.
Send us some questions. We're still looking at doing answer questions.
We want to have enough in the hopper to keep the show going instead of hearing us talk the whole time. CanCrushers69@gmail.com. You know that we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's all at CanCrushers69. We're every place. I found that like 3 more podcast places that we're on too that I didn't even know existed. We are literally now everywhere. I just got our last month's listens in, and we're legit averaging about 2,000 a week now. That's between both shows. But it's between both shows.
Not bad for a couple of bumps.
Jackasses.
Yeah.
In an English professor.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. The OVW breaking news is unbelievable. It's how high it is. That's what happens when Chad Miller says, hit record.
Yeah. He's not playing around.
No. Hit record. I got something to tell you. You're our go-to podcast.
We just need Al Snow to bring back Head.
He's around. I took a picture with him.
Kind of bringing out.
He runs stuff behind the scenes at OVW. Head
does he talk to Head?
Oh, Al Snow's out in front of the camera every once in a while, but Head just...
So Head's in the earpiece.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Head is the production man of OVW. Nothing. All right.
Rest in peace to Pacific Northwest legend Rip Oliver.
Yeah, I did post that.
Passed away earlier this week. A lot of y'all might not be familiar with him. His heyday was in the early 80s to mid 80s. One of the pioneers in wrestling out west. Both as a booker, an owner, and everything. Passed away after a long battle with illness. Good guy. He, could learn a lot. These guys nowadays could learn a lot from him as a heel.
Oh yeah. All right. Just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can.
Not a garbage can. Not.
See you Wednesday.